Hello, welcome everyone. My name is Ruben and welcome to your Photoshop Weekly Creative Challenge. To download the free resources, please click on the link in the description below so you can create it with us, or you can simply use your own files. All right, welcome everyone on the chat. I hope everyone is having an amazing day. Remember that we are live every single day on Behance and YouTube for more tutorials like this. Last week we had so much fun creating some cool stuff. If you haven't checked that out, just go ahead after this live, go and check the recap of those really cool tutorials. Let's see who's on the chat today. All right, we have CJ, we have Pank, Crad, we have Frank, we have some really cool people out there. Today we're going to be creating something really cool and unique. It's going to be a comic type of thing effect, so you can apply to your pictures or your photos. And we're going to get started right away. So let's go ahead. We have our files. If you haven't done so, please check in the description below. There should be a link in there so you can download the files and you can just simply create it with us. All right. So first things first, we have some textures, some cool stuff in here. So we're going to just like turn those off. We have our subject, but we're going to remove, or I would say probably, let's see the file size of this, because we're probably going to make it a little bit smaller so that way our machine run a little bit faster. So let's do 100 resolution. And then for the width, I don't know, I'm going to go with 1500. I think that's good. Click OK. And then there you go. Just want to make sure on the chat, let me know if you can hear me good. Just let me know if you can hear me. Hey, Frank, Jake's Design Works. How you doing? All right, so we're creating a comic style here. So we have our subject, and what we're going to do, we just like resize this image. So I pressed Command, Control, Option I, and then I just resize the resolution and also the width and the height, which will be automatically as soon as you press the height, it'll be constrained because of this link here. All right, so let's just duplicate this image. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a background image. So let's go ahead, background layer. So I'm going to go ahead and press Command Shift, Control Shift N on your PC. And then I'm going to just call this BG. Press OK, and then fill that with white, whatever you want. So I'm going to do white for now. And then I'm going to put it below the image. So I'm going to rename this image. I'm going to just call it photo for now. All right, photo. And let's just silhouette this image pretty quick. I'm going to go into my tools here and just click the object selection tool, which is the first option here. So just make a quick selection right here. I think that's pretty good. So what I'm going to do is just like press Command J, Control J to just like isolate this image. Now we have it by itself, which is good. I'm going to delete this one, and this is going to be my original. Sometimes I save, the original just because, in case you want to go back. But for the sake of this one, I'm just going to delete it and get it out of the way. So photo. Then what I'm going to do is right click and convert this into a smart object. And then the first thing we're going to do is actually go ahead and apply, go into image and then adjustment. And we're going to apply some shadows and highlights. And what we're going to do here is actually bring those shadows like up. So just like bump this up all the way to 100%. And then once you have that and you apply the first shadows and highlights, click OK. And then what we're going to do is actually remove this, filter layer mask. We don't want that. So make sure not click on the image, but in the actual mask. And then the audio is OK. We're good to go. So we're going to right click and just delete filter mask. We don't want that. So let's get rid of it. And then the next step, what we're going to do is actually we're going to go ahead and apply some noise and also desaturate this image. So go ahead into the image again into image. And then we're going to go into filter. We're going to go into filter. Then what we are going to do is actually we're going to add in some noise. So go into noise and then just add noise. But we're not going to do it this way. Let's do it in a different way. So go ahead, click on your image, then go ahead and click on image and then filter and then camera raw. Let's do that. And this way we can add in those filters and stuff in the layers, so that way we can manipulate it later on. So we are in the camera raw. So what you're gonna do is just scroll down and find the details section, which is right here, and then we're gonna add some noise. So noise reduction, we're gonna add some of the noise reduction. I can't talk today. I don't know what's going on. So we're just going to bump it up to 100%. So go ahead. You know, it was like on 0. We're going to go to 100%. We're going to click OK. Then camera raw filter is going to do it in the background, and it's going to add it right here on the layer. Then we're going to repeat that same step again. We're going to go into filter. We're going to go into camera raw filter, and we're going to apply the same setting that we did before. So we're going to go into details and then noise reduction, which is going to go all the way up. And then on this instance, we're going to go ahead and the saturation here at the top. If you don't have that open, just like open that up in the color section. And then in the saturation, just like all the way to the left, -100. It's going to look weird, but it's okay. So we're going to go ahead and click OK. And then we're going to let Photoshop do its magic. And then after that, what we're going to do is actually we're going to add in an oil filter. So with your photo selected, go ahead and select filter. And then we're going to go into, hold on one second. We're going to go into stylize, and then we're going to go oil paint. Click on oil paint, and then in here, make sure you're probably you have it like around here. You can preview it here. Just click on preview, and then the stylization, bump it up to 10, and the cleanness, bump it up to 10 as well. It's gonna look weird and funky, but doesn't matter. We're gonna fix this later on. So click here, trust the process. Click OK. Boom. Now we have our photo with our filters. So we're going to duplicate this twice by pressing Command J or Control J on your PC. So just do this twice. 1, 2. Then the first one, we're going to call it lines. So double click on that layer and call it lines, and then turn it off. And then the second one, we're going to call these grays. So we're going to call this grays. You go. And what we are going to do actually is we're going to be adding some thresholds. So go ahead and like with that selected, with that layer grays layer selected, go ahead and go into image, adjustments, and threshold. Then within the threshold, what we're going to do is just find, kind of like a in between there, like what makes sense for this image. Like about there, maybe. Like about there. That is, let's see. Hold on 1 second. Let's see. That's a little bit better. Click OK. And then what we're doing here now is after we added the threshold, then what we're going to do is actually add in some text effects. I'm sorry, some layers on top of it. So we have these two textures here. We have the first one and we have the second one. What we could do is actually like bring this one and turn it, Control T, Command T on your PC. Make it a little bit bigger. Press enter when you're happy with it, and then just bring it down where the grays is. And then once you're there, we're gonna hold down Option, and then when you see that little down square with the little white square, that black arrow with the little white square, just click on it because it's gonna clip mask this. And then in there, we're gonna set this one into screen mode. So go into your blending modes, set it to screen. That is great. And then the grays layer, what you're gonna do is actually set that to multiply. So we're gonna go ahead. We already did this one and we set it up to screen. So the grays layer, click on that and set it up to multiply. All right, so we're gonna go multiply here at the top. That is perfect. And then we're gonna bring up the lines layer. So with the lines layer, we have it here. We're gonna add in some high pass. So go ahead and turn that on. Go into your filter of other high pass. And then within the high pass, find a really nice way to, like add in some of those, like we can zoom in a little bit. So you can see some of that texture coming through. So just make sure you have something like this. Click OK. And then what we're going to do is we're going to bring this layer and then we're going to apply the threshold. We're going to put it at the top. And this is what we're going to do. We're going to select the oil paint. And we're going to turn that off or just like delete that layer. And then what we're going to do is add a threshold to this one. So go ahead into your image adjustment threshold. And then find a midpoint there. As soon as you see those lines coming in, there you go. So click OK. And then what we're going to do is going to set this one into multiply. So select that layer and just click on multiply. There you go. We have that there, which is pretty good. And then let's see, we're going to bring that high pass at the top. There you go. Second here. So we brought that high pass at the top. Give me 1 second. So let's see the high pass. That's great. Then the threshold. And we're going to multiply this. So we're going to set it to multiply. All right. Let's see, 1 second. I like this better. The high pass. All right. So then we're going to go ahead and just like close everything down. Then the high pass. There you go. All right. So now that we have that, we're going to do is just like bring everything together and just like select everything and press Command G. And don't worry, we can tweak things around. That's why we created all these layers and stuff. And we can call this photo for now. And what we're going to do is actually we're going to add in some, double click on that folder, and we're going to add in some stroke. So let's add a stroke and make sure it's black. So make sure it's black and then make sure it's not that big. So it's a little bit like that. That's great. Then what we're going to do is actually adding a drop shadow, which is going to be white probably. I cannot see it because I have a white background. So let's fix that. So go ahead into your background layer and double click and let's just add in a gradient. Something like that. That's kind of cool. Click OK. Now we can see our background and we can see the drop shadow. So we're going to fix that drop shadow. Double click on that drop shadow. And then let's make it just a tiny bit smaller. Something like about there. Click OK. Now we're going to add another folder. Click on the folder. and call that color. And then we're going to bring that silhouette into a mask. So that way we can color inside. So open up your photo and command click or control click on your image. So that way we have that selection. And then go into your, let's just close this. And then go into your masking and just click on the mask. So that way we capture everything in there and nothing goes out. And then we're going to add in some solid color. So go into your adjustments and click on solid color. Then we're going to do, what are we going to do first? Let's do a green sweatshirt or sweater. Click on that. Don't worry. We're going to flip this in the mask. So go ahead, click on the mask and just Command I or Control I on your PC. And then what we're going to do is zoom in by pressing Command Control Plus. And we're going to paint over. So with your mask selected, press B for your brush. And then use the left bracket to make it smaller. And then in your foreground, make sure you have it in white. So press X and then start painting. And one thing I forgot to do was to actually make this whole thing multiply. So click on the whole folder and select multiply. Perfect. And then in there, we can continue, click on the actual color and then continue painting over. Alrighty, so we're gonna paint over all of this. Whoops, there you go. We're gonna paint, we have to rush a little bit because time constraint, but I think we're gonna get it done before that. So just continue painting all over your file. There you go. We have our sweater. Now we're going to add another one for the jeans. So click on color again, select the blue color for the jeans, and then do the same, repeat the same process. So Control I to invert it, and then let's paint the jeans. So we got the jeans here. That's pretty cool. Alrighty. We have some there. That's fine. You can, go into details. And then lastly, I'm going to paint the face and some of the arms. So we're going to create the skin tone. So again, another solid color. And then we're going to go into the browns here and kind of like about there maybe. Do the same thing. Click on the layer mask and just like press Command I to invert that and then start painting again. This is great. I think I have that done. And then the arm here, the arm right here, which is pretty cool. All right. I think we got something going on here, which is pretty good. And let's add in some circle. So I'm going to add in a circle and just like put it, like hold down Shift to make it, perfect. And then bring that down. So I'm going to bring it down like about there. And I'm going to just double click and select the color. I don't know. I'm going to probably use yellow. And then let's just double click again and add in some stroke and another drop shadow, which is white. That's perfect. Let's bring some of that shadow, some of those textures inside that circle. So I'm going to duplicate this layer, which is my texture. Command J, Control J on your PC, and bring it down on top of your circle. Then Control T, Command T to just make it a little bit bigger. Maybe turn it around, maybe. Let's just make it a little bit bigger. And then what we're going to do is just actually like blend it. So go into your blend modes. And like screen is kind of nice. So go ahead and press Option. So that way it's like contained within your circle. And that's pretty cool. And then another thing that I wanted to try out, it's trying to fix some of these stuff. So I'm going to go ahead inside the photo. I'm going to go into the grays and I'm going to click on that threshold. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that threshold double click on that, and I'm gonna just like start playing around with this. Just a tiny bit. You know, if we go to the right, it makes it too dark. But if we go to the left, we kind of like bring some of those details from the face, which I want. Click OK. I like that better. And then go into your lines. And then let's click on the threshold again. Whoops, I think I click on the camera raw. Oh, no, I didn't. This is good. So let's zoom in again just to see more of this texture coming through. So I think that is great. Let's see a little more, maybe like about there, because I want to see a little more of that. Those lines, the high pass, it's there, but I don't know why it's giving me like this weird. Hold on one second. Let me just cancel that. And that, double click on that, and then that threshold again. Like about there. That's perfect. I still have something going on with, is it the oil paint maybe? No, it's not the oil paint. Threshold again, because we want to bring that back. Click OK. All right, let's see what's going on here now. We have our colors. Perfect. We have our smart filters. We have the high pass. We're going to turn that off for now and just leave it the way it is, because it's, for some reason, it's not doing. There you go. Let's see. All right. So I'm bringing some of that. That's perfect. Let's see the multiply. You can play around with this, and that's the beauty of Photoshop. You can play around and experiment and do so many different things. Multiply is the one that I want. Lastly, I want to do what I want to do is actually bring some other probably textures that we can put in on top. So I'm just going to open. If you have a brush, like a grunge brush, you can definitely do that. So I'm just going to grab this one like pretty quick. And I'm just going to bring it to here. And then what I'm doing is actually, it's not going to be part of the photo, but it's going to be it's going to be on top of this. Then you just go into your blending modes and just either multiply or color burn, however you want. Then just turn it around a little bit, make it a little bit smaller. Something like about there. Maybe you can add in some other stuff that I have here, which is kind of like a bubble. I'm gonna just try to open it here. I'm gonna say yeah, let's do 200. I don't want to make it super bigger. And now Photoshop is rasterizing this vector image, because I want to just grab one portion of it and bring it to the actual design. So I'm going to grab this one pretty quick. So I'm going to just using the magnetic tool. There you go. Command J. I'm going to just copy this layer and then going to paste it here. Control T to make it smaller. All right, I'm going to continue making this proportionate. I think that's good. So I'm going to double click. Then what I'm going to do is just select my, magic wand and select outside, and then just click delete, because I just want the bubble to be there. And then just Command T, Control T on your PC and just flip it. And there you go. I think we have some stuff going around here, so we can delete that. Perfect. And there you have it. It's a comic book type of effect that you can do in Photoshop. And thank you so much for joining me today. And please don't forget to join our community and by posting your work there, because there are amazing people and mentors that can help you level up your design skills. I'm super happy with everything that we created throughout this month, and I wanted to see some of this, comic type of filters in the Discord, so that way we can, provide you feedback and see your creativity through there. Again, thank you so much for having me, and I'll see you around. Bye-bye.